Well, hello and welcome to day 4. I am out and about and enjoying the sunshine. It is glorious. I'm going to let you see the mountains, which are just shining. The sun has been heating everything up and just brightening everything. It's giving the snow that's so thick on the mountains this shine to it that's just incredible. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to turn you for just a second so you can see how absolutely beautiful it is today. Isn't it just magical? So I'm excited to spend these next few moments with you, kind of enjoying what this beautiful view has to offer. Let me get you guys all situated. Podcasting outside, you usually have to make some adjustments. So many of you shared how excited you were about yesterday's chat where we were alongside the water. Many of us during the pandemic have been kind of tucked in and stuck in places. And a lot of you who are so accustomed to finding your way to the water really loved it. So what I thought would be great to do is bring you over here to Women's Bay and to allow you a chance to see a different, softer side of the water here. Instead of it being really big waves crashing against rocks, it's small ripples and it's just, oh my gosh, sparkling and bright. And I wanted to share with you a little bit about knitting, of course. Sasha's here to keep me company and also to keep me safe. So you're going to see her running around from time to time, and you're going to see me glancing around because I didn't bring my bear mace. But I did bring my dog, which is great. So what I'd like to do is just take a second and share with you today really quickly the importance I find in remaking things. If you caught the live chat that I did with Kate, she's Kate Celine. She has an episode that she does Under the Stairs, and for the month of March, we'll be meeting on her Instagram channel. But we talked fully about what I'm just going to share with you briefly about, and it's just the power of making something the first time and then going back and remaking it and having the opportunity to experience it in a different frame of mind or in a different place. So when we first start something new, oftentimes it's the newness that's so exciting, and that whole newness is the gift that knitting is going to give us. For me, and I'm going to show you here, for me, I knit this hat. And for me, this hat, believe it or not, I love knitting hats because for me, they're swatching for sweaters. I love creating sweaters up for myself, and I'll find that my idea, instead of just swatching it's never useless, but instead of swatching your traditional form for a swatch, that is to say a square, I find that if I'm going to knit a sweater in the round, or the sleeves are going to be in the round, I can knit a hat, and that's my swatch for gauge. Also for color, my swatching is, for me, many different things. It's an exercise and exploration. And I just wanted to share with you that this first iteration of this hat was me just casting on and kind of seeing where using a bunch of different strands together would take me. And what happened was, the first time I approached this project with the mindset of, okay, pay attention to how many stitches, pay attention to the mechanics, where am I decreasing, how far do I do the ribbing, where is the decrease, what happens in between the cast on and the bind off edge, right? So that's what happened with the first one. With the second one, I was excited because I could work on making some slight changes. What would these changes bring my project? What would they bring my curiosity? What would they bring my creative imagination? And so after getting the first one down and feeling comfortable with that, I altered things a little bit. I made this hat obviously if I hold a 2, it's easier to see. I made it shorter. I did some changes to the decreases, and I changed the color. I played with a different color palette, and it was quite enjoyable. So the third time around, and I'll share with you the application maybe for you after I share this last one. The third one, I changed it again. I made the ribbing one way. I shaped it differently. I definitely changed the color, and I learned some different things from taking the same concept of knitting a hat, reknitting it, and reknitting it. I was able to tweak it and customize it and learn some things that if I had stopped with the first iteration, I probably wouldn't have experienced. That is not to say that you can't experience a ton of amazing things with your first knitting. But what I'd like to suggest is you're full of creativity. You're full of just this capability to design things and alter things yourself. You just need to give yourself grace, give yourself space, and give yourself time. And so one of the things I'd like to let you know real quick is in the link when I share this later, whether it's on YouTube or if it's on Instagram, IGTV, I'll put in there a link for my blog post that I just did where you can sign up and get this pattern, as well as, it's a free pattern, as well as some ideas of how to create your own color palette from scraps or from minis or from your stash. And my friend, I have a lot to say about stash. We'll save that for another time. But today, I'm so excited that you made today a priority to hop on and give yourself some time to sit and hopefully knit, or even just think about knitting, and maybe you're going to knit later. Today, maybe you're just spending some time with me. But this is your 4th day that you've been setting aside this time to mindfully think about more than just the process of in, wrap, pop off for knitting or purling. You're also giving yourself this opportunity to have deeper thoughts within yourself and exploring them more fully. So before we go, I'd like to tell you a little bit about where we are, and then I'm going to let you get on to your knitting wonders and explorations and fun things that you're doing. But before I show you where we are and tell you about it, I do want to remind you that if you're watching this, wherever you're watching this, if it's the live, you'll comment, and I generally won't see it because I'm outside. But during the live time, definitely chat with the other people who are on here. They're your community too. It's not just me. And you don't need me to encourage you. You can encourage others and they can encourage you. The second thing is, if you're commenting and you have a question or you have this great idea, definitely put it in the comments on the YouTube channel or the IGTV. Those comments stay, and so they live on a lot longer than the live. And your comments I can see and others can see, and we can start a conversation, right? Okay, great. Now, where are we? We are at this wonderful place that I love, and I've brought you here before. In fact, I brought you to the tree just up past where I am, and it was in a different episode where I was hanging citrus slices on the trees for the birds, which they loved, actually. And the second time I did it, I put citrus, I rubbed peanut butter on it and a little bit of birdseed. They loved that too. So if you're ever looking to feed the birds, it looks beautiful. You can use a twine, and then you can come back and pick the twine back up and just kind of recycle it that way. But that is where I brought you that last episode. So here is Sometimes Island. And the reason it's called Sometimes Island is you can see behind me lots of water. Behind you, my friend, is also a lot of water. And in between this space and the land where we started our walk, my dog and I, there's a spit or a bit of land that when the tide comes in, which is going to be doing soon, that spit gets covered over, or that land gets covered over, and this becomes an island. So depending on the tide, sometimes it's an island, sometimes it's not. Thankfully, it's not right now, and when I head back after our hike through the forest, I'll have a place to walk. But you'll see the mountains behind me. What I would like to show you is where I'm going to be walking, and it's so beautiful. So let me show you. You go on that way through the snow, in through the trees, and it leads you down a bit, and then you come back up, and then you go back down again, and it's the water. It's a rocky, craggy area, and the water there is just beautiful. And here are our beautiful mountains. I love, over that way is my favorite mountain to hike, and it's called Mount Kashavarov. And in the future, I will gladly take you on a hike there and let you see the vista from there. But for now, my friends, I want to stop sitting here and chatting with you and let you get back to you and all the thoughts and all the ideas that you can get from your own creative being. You've been created on purpose with so many gifts and so much insight that I don't want you to lose sight of the fact that you are amazing, and the work of your hands is just kind of a manifestation of that cleverness and that creativity. So as you're knitting today, definitely take time to see those stitches with fresh eyes and see the person making those stitches with fresh eyes. That's you. You have such talent and such skill. Whether you're knitting a washcloth or you're knitting a entrelac sweater, what you're doing is perfect. And the way you're going about it as a creative person, take the time and be mindful of it, because those things that you are pouring into each stitch have value. Those things that you pour into our knitting community also have value. So definitely share what you're learning, what you're experiencing, and I'd love to connect more with you and share with you the pattern that I'm going to start knitting with you next week if you want, and we can make this time that. So that free pattern is on my blog, which is encouragebetter.com. The link for my blog is in my Instagram profile, or you can find it on the replay in the show notes below. Until our next adventure tomorrow, which may have to be inside. We had warnings that tomorrow is going to be wickedly cold and there's a storm advisory. So you may join me by the fireplace tomorrow. All right, my friend, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I hope you know how valuable you are.